Biofeedback. I'm convinced that biofeedback has a great ability to help people with chronic pain based on my experience in working with a few people and based on the published literature. Now, traditionally, biofeedback has been done with expensive equipment in professionals' offices, but fortunately, advances in technology are making it possible to do it in your own home, which is incredibly valuable because you need practice for your body to learn what it can learn from biofeedback. And if you can do it in your home several times a day for a month, then you can really get good. Your body can really learn how to do the biofeedback by itself. I mean, your body has many loops of biofeedback already going as we speak. You have biofeedback loops in your body that are sensing blood sugar level and dispensing the proper amounts of insulin. You have loops that are sensing your heart rate and correcting your heart rate. You have loops doing all sorts of internal body processes automatically. But what we're talking about is supplementing those internal biofeedback loops with an external one. A particularly useful one is hand warming, because hand warming can help you move from a sympathetic nervous system excitation to parasympathetic and thus calm you. Now, how does that work? Well, when you're in sympathetic nervous system arousal, that's fight or flight, like you're running from a tiger. And evolution has engineered that to make it easier for you to run from tigers. What does it do? It puts more blood in your muscles so that you can run better. Well, it doesn't make more blood, so how does it put more blood in the muscles? The only way it can do that is by shutting down blood from tissues that are not as needed at the moment, non-muscle tissues, such as your hands, feet, and internal organs. So what happens is if you're in fight or flight all the time, sympathetic nervous system arousal, your hands are cold, your feet are cold, and blood flow is being restricted from your internal organs that need it. This is not a desirable state long term, and hand temperature biofeedback can help you learn to get out of it. With hand temperature biofeedback, your brain can learn how to get out of fight or flight. In fight or flight, it secretes a chemical known as vasopressin. Now, this vasopressin restricts the blood vessels in your hands and feet and in the internal organs, and that's how the body shunts more blood flow to the muscles. So if vasopressin is present, your hands are cold. If vasopressin is not present, if you're not in fight or flight, your hands warm. So if you can learn to warm your hands, you're learning how to decrease your fight or flight arousal. This can be enormously helpful, not only for recovering from chronic pain, but improving a stressed out life, making you more effective by having you approach crises more calmly. So I'd like to show you some of the hand temperature biofeedback devices that we've been developing in our lab. Now, we got inspiration for our biofeedback devices from the visualization method that I mentioned in a previous video. In this method, you reduce chronic pain by visualizing glowing spots of pain shrinking. In our first biofeedback device, the glowing spots of pain shrink as your hands warm the sensor on the mouse. This was a computer-based device. Later, we went to a 3D device. In this case, there were glowing spots inside a 3D model, somewhat similar to the brain model that you've been seeing in these videos. And we had a sensor for temperature on top of it. You put your hand on it, and as your hand warms, it dims the spots. Our current device, the rainbow brain, goes through the rainbow as your hand warms. This gives a lot more steps. For every quarter of a degree that you warm your hands, there's a change in the light so that you can see very subtle changes as you warm your hands. We're continuing to develop this rainbow brain, and we very much hope to make it generally available sometime in the future. But for now, if you want to keep abreast of developments on the rainbow brain, you can go to the Hansma Lab website. Thanks.